So, tell me something terrible. So, about your bird.
Look, I squirted her already.
Okay, we'll just roll with it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a podcast with a screaming bird in the background.
All right, you going to ASMR that high noon?
I am a sun sip. It's less poppy than a busy.
Yeah, I feel like it's more snappy. Not quite as like, where the Vizzy kind of is like a slow pop.
I don't know.
A little more raspy of a pop.
This smells more like papaya to me than mango because it smells a little footy.
Oh.
Can you smell it?
We've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
Huh? It does. It's like, this is going to sound so bougie, but it's like in the middle. You know, it doesn't hit you up front or it's not an after smell. It's in the middle that gets footy.
Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's a little funk. I don't know how I feel about it.
I'm just glad I can still smell.
Okay, good.
After COVID round 2.
Yep. I don't want to look like an alcoholic in our video we're recording for this.
I'll take this.
No, it's fine. Just leave it. It's fine.
It's just 2 drinks. If we had 10 of them there, we'd have to talk.
It's the chips.
Yeah. Oh, hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And you're listening to Tell Me Something Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
You seem uncomfortable.
Because I have my arms
Is that
crossed.
better?
Well, yeah, I'm going. Okay.
We'll make it work.
All right.
What you are such a weirdo.
I don't want to pull the mic off by having my arm on top of it.
You can set it the other way. You're sitting.
No, I cannot. Goodness. Absolutely not. All right, you're right. I can. Right. Look.
This is our first time ever. Welcome to episode 1. We're gonna get better. We promise.
I'm just really struggling because I was so proud of myself. I wrote this days ago.
Yeah, you've moved on to another one.
Yeah, and I was so excited because I was like, ooh, we're going to be able to record it early. And then I realized I'm not out of quarantine until today.
Yeah, so we weren't going to sit this close. We could have recorded it from like opposite ends of the table and it would have been super like...
awkward and... Yeah. And so I just started on the next episode. So I'm slightly ahead of schedule.
It is fun when one of the two you get COVID and the other one continually does not. It just feels like you're fighting because you're in a house, but you like can't even like look at each other or like get within 6 feet of each other.
And you gotta like wear a mask and sleep in different parts of the room.
Yeah.
And then like I would come out and just Lysol everything after I touched it.
Yep.
I sat outside a lot and you were inside a lot, and that felt very much like that. I think that was the worst part of it, feeling like we were fighting. Like I can't even be in the same house as him.
Or we'd watch TV on different couches.
Just really passive aggressive side eyeing each other.
Yeah. Glad we don't have the tiny house. Our first house would have been very hard.
No, the first house would have been like, you need to leave.
Yeah.
Don't come back for 5 days.
I mean, I thought about making you sleep out in the broken camper in the barn, but that's a hazard, like a life hazard.
Yeah, I would roll over like the wrong direction and it would collapse on me.
And your second shit in a 5-gallon bucket, you'd have been over it.
The second shit? Absolutely not. My first mosquito bite, I would have been like, fuck this.
Right.
We have a whole second floor we're not using.
Can you imagine trying to go in that barn in our camper and just laying in the dead silence?
Oh, absolutely. No. Oh my God, Scott, that made my teeth hurt just thinking about it.
Why?
Oh God, like way back here, like it hurts because just laying in the barn is so creepy.
Just everything about that?
Everything. Not just like, pretty sure it's haunted AF.
All right.
But also there's like raccoons and
Our
shit.
next ghost hunting adventure, we are gonna next Friday night we don't have the kid. We're spending the night in the camper in the barn.
You better at least have that fixed so we don't die. I'm not dying for this podcast, damn it.
Okay, it does have a broken pulley cable, but it is supported by high quality 2x4 studs right now
that are just jammed in upon itself.
Yeah.
So if you jiggle it anyway, that shit's falling down.
Okay. I'll try to get it fixed.
Okay.
Or we can just tent camp in the barn.
Oh, that sounds worse.
No, sleeping bags would be worse.
That's true. Absolutely not.
I've seen some of the shits that the whatever raccoon or whatever sometimes goes through there. Yeah, I don't want to come face to face with that at 2 a.m.
Absolutely. Or whatever drug that dead, like thinned out, sun-baked, sun-tanned, leathered fur that was in
I think that was a cat that got like a baby raccoon.
Yeah, but something drug that pile out later.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, a cat.
After it had... Oh, no. It's awful.
Anyway,
Ew.
This is the longest...
intro ever. We've meandered.
Wandering intro, yeah.
Yes. Already fully gone off the rails.
We meandered 10 minutes ago. I don't even know where we are now. We did the thing with our names.
Yes.
Okay. What's your story? Not story. What's your research about?
I'm going to make you not want to get on a train.
Okay.
Okay.
You're just really... You like to bring up subtle not PTSD. the fact, whatever, the shame that I've never been on anything like the whole planes, trains, and automobiles. I've only ever been on an automobile, never been on a plane.
And we've talked about multiple plane crashes. Have we done multiple plane crashes at this point?
We did the murder mystery train where we drove over 1 mile one way. It stops and then goes 1 mile at like 0.2 miles an hour.
It literally takes
it's like a
4
2
hours.
Yeah,
no, it's long.
Anyway, it goes 1 mile an hour in one direction, 1 mile an hour in the other.
This is going a little faster than that.
Yeah. Anyway, you just like to bring up the point that I have never been on, and I guess I have been on one big boat.
What boat?
8th grade trip.
Rub it in.
Jamie's gonna remember this.
That you went to Canada.
Yeah, we went to Canada,
and we didn't because of SARS, which, in case you care, is the first variation of COVID.
Okay. 8th grade me is a trying times. This is pre-diabetes, but you got to remember, I'm like maybe 5 foot tall. I'm fat. Obviously, I didn't have a beard. My main outfit was just hoodies and baggy clothes
and a brown polo.
I did it. No, the brown polo was senior pictures, and that was like the quote unquote nice shirt I had. Anyway, we went on a schooner.
Man, the 2000s.
And we had like a dance on a schooner.
Right. We had one. We had our dance on a riverboat in the Ohio River, and there was a wedding going on downstairs.
Nice.
So they told us we had to be quiet.
That's fun.
Yep.
Anyway, we were all at a dance on a boat that had all you can eat pizza and pop on the like in the underbelly. How much time do you think I spent up top dancing? 0.0 minutes.
Just continuing to eat your feelings.
Yep. I would walk up.
And I would like look a direct link to when you got diabetes could have been to that.
I would look around a little bit, and then I would go right back downstairs. Yeah. Anyway, good times. Shout out class of 06.
God, I fucking
There's actually a few class
of
06ers that listen to this podcast.
Yeah, there is.
Anyway.
Middle school was the absolute worst.
Middle school wasn't great for you, boy. Neither was high school, but anyway.
Middle school was the exact opposite for me, but we're not going to get into that trauma.
Nope. It's already been, 20? No, I'm just kidding.
We do not have the time. So, trains.
Planes. Automobiles.
Oh, I already ruined boats. We're just trying to hit them all for you.
Oh, I can't even take a car across a bridge. Yeah, you really are trying to. Everyone's just going to be bubble boys.
Yes. So, in the wee hours of Friday, September 12th, 2008.
Okay, Friday, not the 13th, 2008. Almost shout out class 06. Okay.
So 46-year-old engineer Robert Sanchez, who was subcontracted out by the LA Metro Link, started an 11.5-hour split shift at about 6 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
4 hours and 45 text messages exchanged later.
Okay.
As the person who drives the train sent 45 text messages during his shift.
Okay, so wait.
Yeah, engineers drive the train.
Robert Sanchez is our train conductor.
Yes.
/ engineer.
Yes.
Okay, did you mention that?
I mentioned he was the engineer.
Okay.
I didn't really mention that they're the ones that drive the train.
Okay, but like, I mean, when you come to an intersection, you got to pay attention. But when you're just on the railways, like you don't have a steering wheel, like.
We're gonna get to it.
Okay, good. I'm guessing he didn't hit the brakes when he should have hit the brakes or something. He zigged when he should have zagged.
Yeah. So, he passed go when he should have gone straight to jail.
Yeah.
Okay. So he took a nap after halfway through his shift, 4 hours in, and he restarted his shift again, commanding the Metrolink passenger train 111.
Easy to remember.
Yep. It was headed from Los Angeles westward into suburbia outside of the city. The train departed its station just after 3 p.m. Less than a half hour later, while conducting the train, Sanchez picks up his phone and orders himself a sandwich from a restaurant in Moore Park, which is where he was headed, before taking off to its stop in Moore Park.
Okay, so he's just ordering a sandwich for the next stop.
Yes,
okay.
And he's on his phone.
Okay.
So the Metrolink departs.
Hating on him being on his phone right now.
Yeah. Just wait. I think texting and driving a car is dangerous. So
I'm just saying it's probably safer to text and be in a moving train that you kind of have to be paying attention of.
Yeah. So the Metrolink departs from Moorhead departs for Moorhead at 3:35. Okay. So every day, a small section of the single track between this Chatworth station that he was at before headed to Moore Park It's shared by the Metrolink passenger plane. I'm going to do that so much. It's because it's a passenger train.
Okay.
So this train shares.
I was like, I know where the story is going if it shares
A track.
road with a plane.
Yeah.
That's not going to be good.
No. Nope. He shares this with another train. There's a 1.5 mile section of the train where it goes from a double down to a single.
Okay.
And they share this
One-way
1.5
roads
mile
are
track.
hard enough.
Yeah.
Are one-way train tracks a good idea? No?
No.
Okay.
We'll find out in a minute. We'll get there. So this is something that they've shared every day. They're used to doing this routine. One of them has to stop depending on how on time they're running to wait for the other one. It's been like that every day.
All right.
Okay. I lost my spot. Oh, right. Okay, found it. It is a Union Pacific freight train that they're sharing this track with.
Is that important? Mm-hmm. Oh, freight train and
Freight
passenger train. Okay.
Yep. This freight train's carrying 11 freight cars.
All right.
The passenger train was carrying like 3 passengers. Passenger, like...
That weighs significantly less than whatever freight.
The locomotive, like just the engine for the passenger car, weighs 100,000 pounds.
Well, you know,
Just the locomotive.
They got momentum on
Yeah.
their side once you get moving.
So there are 2 red signals placed at the beginning and the end of the single track that signifies to each train whether they can move forward along their route or if they have
or
to
the
wait.
other one's coming. Yep.
Yep. So at 4:13 p.m., the signal at the Chatsworth station had switched to red. Sanchez runs through the track switch without even acknowledging anything, with no attempt to apply any brakes.
He was balls deep in his BLT.
After his blatant disregard for all the things.
All humanity.
So he literally has gone through. So something distracted him before he went through the tracks,
Okay.
and he just blows through it.
Yep.
And then he sent a 7th text message of his second half shift. So he's literally already sent 7 text messages back at this point.
Okay. I was waiting for you to say some part of his anatomy that he sent to somebody.
And then we're gonna get to it. That's not what he sent, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
And then after sending his 7th message, he sent 5 more in less than a minute.
Just fired him off.
Yep.
He's like a 3-word texter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He uses like U's and stuff.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oof.
He's 46. They don't know. So just around the bend in the track, with only 4 seconds to spare, the crew of the freight train spot the oncoming passenger train, which is just the locomotive. Sorry, it wasn't 100,000. It's 250,000 pounds. The engine.
Pounds or tons?
Pounds.
Okay.
So the passenger train was carrying 250 people with 3 attached cars. And it was headed back from LA, so it was packed. Mm-hmm. 2 seconds before impact, the freight train engineer triggers the emergency brake. So the passenger, Sanchez, still no acknowledgement. Everything's coming from
Full
the freight
steam
train.
ahead.
Yep. The 2 trains collide at 40 to 42 miles per hour. The impact was so violent the Metrolink engine was shoved back into the passenger car behind it, which collapsed in on itself, catching fire. Mm-hmm. And then the following 2 cars derailed. And the freight train cars, quote, essentially collapsed like an accordion.
Oh, so
like into each other.
The way
they
it
all
does
squished
like,
into each other.
Yeah, like a cartoon, essentially.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you're ever wondering what happens when you have 2 trains headed toward, one headed east and one headed west.
Well, one was stopped at that point, wasn't it?
No, 2 seconds.
Oh, he hit his. Oh, I guess he was slowing down a little.
But 2 seconds literally makes 0 difference. So they came at each other. Yes, and that's what happened. So that's the answer to your math question when you're in high school. What happens when
it depends what time Robert got his sandwich and how many text messages he was firing off.
So, within minutes of the collision, the LA Fire Department arrived on scene, initially expecting only a physical rescue because that was what it was initially called in at, but was met with what was described by Captain Ruda.
Ruda?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a mess, just a disaster.
A bloody mess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Was he Ron Weasley?
No. So a second call was made reclassifying the accident as a mass casualty incident, which is what they call those things.
Yep. That seems appropriate.
Yep. Firefighters had to cut their way through fences and backyards to get to the tracks. One firefighter described the rescue effort as, quote, like peeling an onion to find all of the victims.
That's not a great metaphor.
Not for a train, a big physical metal.
Yeah, it's just, It's like he had just seen Shrek. It was 2008. It's like accidents are like onions. They got layers.
So an additional 5 ambulances were called in, and then an additional 30 fire engines. Hundreds of search and rescue workers were called to the scene of the collision, including 250 firefighters, because it's LA, so they've got a bunch.
They got a few, yeah.
Yeah. Red Cross workers spent the next time collecting names and phone numbers of friends and family gathered and survivors to like relay information about missing people.
Okay. Oh, to see who's not accounted for.
Right. Yeah. Or like family that's coming up being like, oh my gosh, I think so and so was on this train, and writes down their name and their number in case they find them in the wreckage. Mm-hmm. So 6 of LAFD's, the fire department's
Thank you.
Yeah. Life flight helicopters were called in, with 6 more brought in from the county and the sheriff's department. So they wound up with a dozen helicopters life flighting people out to trauma centers.
Okay.
So in a grassy area between the wreck and a nearby academy, an on-site hospital was set up, along with an air-conditioned tent that served as a makeshift morgue.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you were going to say morgue at the end of that sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
An air-conditioned tent that ended up as a makeshift morgue.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Hey, it's hot in September in LA.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking air-conditioned tent for like, people that were like okay to like sit up and like
Absolutely not.
have some orange juice.
Nope. A total of 25 people died in the collision.
That's less than I would have actually guessed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The last immediate casualty to be pulled from the train was engineer Sanchez.
Yeah, I feel like he would be hard to identify, I'm guessing.
Yeah. All the other crew from both of them lived.
If the engine got pushed through back to the passenger car, he had to be close to said engine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like right up front. Had no idea what hit him.
I'm going to make
he
a
was
highlight
too busy
reel.
Sending text messages.
Right, yeah. Just a sandwich in one hand and his phone on the other, just scrolling.
Just not even realizing that the light at the end of the tunnel is literally inches from him.
It's 08. He might have had one of those flip side keyboards anyway.
Ooh, yeah. The ones that are like
Sidekicks?
2008. Oh, I had one of those. Not a sidekick, but the actual keyboard that slid in and out. That was my favorite. They need to bring those back.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm just going to make a highlight reel of every time the bird screams. That's what we're going to put on TikTok out of this video. It's just going to be a scream. Shut up, bird.
Should we pause for the cause? And
No.
Just keep
people can
plowing through.
We have a parrot that's older than most people listening, so
that's true.
She's going to have her bad nights.
Yeah. So
it's still daylight here in Michigan.
It is. So 135 people were transferred to a dozen trauma units in the area to be treated for a wide variety of injuries. 81 of them were critical condition.
Okay.
Trauma surgeon at the USC University Hospital.
That's pronounced USC.
I had to
That's
really.
the University of Southern California.
I had to slow it down because I felt like I was going to flip every letter in that.
Hold on. Bonus points. Do you know what the mascot is for USC?
The Nittany Lions.
No. It is a local Cascade Conference mascot.
Did you just not get that callback?
Nittany Lions?
Yeah.
Oh, from the Penn State one when the library chick? Yeah. Yeah, you had
I
no
was
idea
really
that
going to hope that you would appreciate that.
Do you know what USC is, though?
No. The fighting, you said Eagles.
No.
It's always the Eagles.
It's the Trojans. Yep.
Good for them.
Right?
So, oh no, I didn't write the name of this officer. I meant to. Look, it's bolded. Didn't update it.
So, officer...
Correct. I shouldn't make that joke because she's dead. Anyway, 81 of them were critical. The trauma surgeon at the UCS. See, I knew I was going to mess it up. USC University Hospital described the injuries of the victims, quote, "They have head injuries, multiple facial fractures, chest trauma, collapsed lungs, rib fractures, pelvic fractures, leg and arm fractures, cut in the skins and soft tissues, and some have blood on the brain." So when off-duty officer is a lady, I feel bad.
Yeah.
She was pulled.
You didn't look up her name?
No, I had her name. I just didn't. Like when I write through,
put it back in,
if there's like missing information, I kind of black it out and then I forgot to update it. So unfortunately, I guess I should be respectful because she died when she was pulled from the train. Everyone stopped, lined up and saluted her as her white linen wrapped body was carried into the morgue pop-up tent.
Was she on the train then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. She was off duty. So she was just headed home.
Yep.
Done for the day, hung up the uniform, was like, phew,
okay.
headed
I was
out.
making sure she was on the train and not just part of the like rescue effort.
But her coworkers rescued her You know,
so they knew exactly
they knew who
was.
exactly she
Yeah.
was when they pulled her off, and so she was, even though she was covered, everybody knew who it was, and everybody, all the rescue workers stopped and saluted her as they took her away.
Okay.
So it's very sad.
I wonder how many people take train as like a daily commuter
In LA, a shit ton, because otherwise it'll take you hours just to drive home.
Well, it's expensive to have it like
Own a car.
park and-
There's a
yeah.
lot, like Georgia and Karen from MFM. There's times where Karen, like Georgia, talked about never having a car because she grew up in the city. She's like, I didn't even get my license until I was older because I didn't need it.
I just like ride buses and
And
Yeah.
walk. So rescue efforts finally came to an end late Saturday.
Oh, okay. So like 36 hours later.
Yeah.
All right.
So Metrolink representative Denise Tyrell announced very shortly after the collision that the cause of the accident was due to the engineer, who initially remained nameless, was texting. There was an immediate backlash from the National Transportation Safety Board, who said that it was too early to make any claims of what caused the accident.
They're like, lady, you know how
Shut
much
the fuck up.
insurance money we're paying out now?
This is the board, the national board.
Yeah.
So that's the government.
True.
Her, the owner, like literally the woman who ran it, came up and was like, this motherfucker was texting,
Like,
and now
yeah,
people are dead from
Like
it.
this is our fault.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
And she had no qualms just walking up and owning her shit.
Yeah.
Which is shocking.
Yes. 100%. That's why I assumed it was.
No,
not.
and then the government was like, nope,
Yeah.
no. Because a shit ton of laws. The next day, texting and driving in California was made illegal.
And what about texting and conducting a 250,000 pound train?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
That's the end.
That seems like it's also going to be made illegal at this point.
Yep. Just wait. It took longer than it should. Oh no, I think it took 13 days before the railroad made it a policy, and even longer before like the country was like, oh yeah, that should be that should
They had to work
be a
the verbiage
problem.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all new.
You'd think by now we've just got cut like general verbiage and you just plop in like what you're applying it to. Like,
Yeah.
aren't there like pre-formatted laws now? Come on,
Yeah.
get with it. It's only been 250 years.
Yeah. The aforementioned hereby.
Somebody
referred to
probably
as
wanted to have
blah, blah,
some
blah.
ridiculous like fund given for somebody, and they were like, no, not
Yeah,
everything has
they
to come with a
wanted,
stipulation for the NRA.
No, they needed to figure out the ad.
I'm so angry.
You are. You really are. No, trust me. Now, see, when I get
They had to figure out the bumper sticker for the ads that
yeah, the hang up and drive or whatever. Yeah,
their slogans.
yeah, text yourself to death or whatever. It's like some girl texting and Final Destination herself into a tree. No, now when I read like nutrition studies, the first thing I do is I go to see who sponsored it. Like
150
where did this come from?
fucking
Yeah.
percent.
Oh, National Dairy. Yeah, fuck this stuff.
Yeah, it's completely biased.
Yeah.
Yeah, the skincare is a lot like that too, where like you need to make sure that it's peer reviewed, and and usually if it's something that is good, every skincare line's incorporating it. If it's something that's bullshit that you're like, ooh, snail slime, and like 2 people are using it, it's because snail slime is hyaluronic acid. Like you don't need snail slime. Anyway, sorry, I've just gone off the rails now.
Down the snail hole we go.
So, the National Transportation Safety Board said it was too early to make any claims of what caused the accident, fearing that it would stir up unwarranted fears
Of train travel?
of another train accident, because another train accident occurred just a few months earlier that was initially said to be caused by texting, and it wasn't true either. So,
They're like, let's for
not
lack of a better term, you're going to say
pump
it?
the brakes.
Yes, yeah.
It's too
Let's
soon.
look up from our phone and pump the brakes on this one real quick. Put that sandwich down.
So, the NTSB started their more in-depth investigation.
Yep.
I'm just going to call it the safety board because I know I'm going to fuck up
You're
those
really
initials
struggling
again.
with acronyms
I
tonight.
don't know what my problem is.
They took him to USC. Who the fuck taught you how to speak?
Disney movies.
Yeah. The NTSB. That's not where you put the pause. Stop pausing.
I'm a Disney child. I was just plopped in front of Hercules and allowed that to raise me.
Just speak. You don't have to enunciate initials.
I just know I'm going to get them backwards. That's
Yeah.
my problem.
Yeah.
So the train version of the black box.
You're going to be like, and the BTSM was, wait, whoa, nope, hold on. NTSB, that's NST. Anyway, whatever I said the first time.
So the train version of a black box was dug out of the ashes.
Okay.
It was to
I assume it's a little red one. It looks like a locomotive, like, or the caboose. Yeah.
That's actually what's in the caboose is the black box.
Yeah.
So this was to go through any data about braking speeds, anything mechanical and electrical was checked to make sure there was not like a computer error.
Uh-huh.
So the voice recorders were pulled to see if there was just miscommunications between the engineer and conductor.
He's actually red, green colorblind.
Yeah, that
They
would be
found
it.
out today. He's been stopping at green lights for years.
The one time that he went at a red.
Tragic mistake.
happened.
There's 25 people dead, you monster. Stop laughing.
So they needed to make sure that there was no mention of a red signal, like a red light being seen between the two, which it could have indicated to the conductor that he needed to stop.
Yeah.
So the safety board checked to make sure the signals really were working correctly.
Yep.
One eyewitness swears that the signal was green, but like every single bit of evidence and other eyewitnesses are like, no,
It's red.
That guy was just a pot stirrer. So they ran dummy trains along the track to make sure that there wasn't a glare on the signals that could have caused the accident. They checked the catch point to ensure safety catch point to ensure that the that mechanism was working properly. That should have slowed down the train.
Okay.
A safety board official said that it was bent like a banana, which meant that engineer Sanchez just blew right through it.
Oh, okay.
Like it's supposed to be something that clamps down on it.
Yeah.
And he just
yeah,
through.
Gotcha.
Yep. It bent
Here's a real question. What was preventing them from putting a second train track in for that mile and a half?
Money.
Oh, okay. Well, that seems like poor judgment at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just
And also time. Just listen to how long this shit takes. Just because because that also requires, because it's a public transportation situation,
yeah.
that requires a lot of government stuff, right? And that takes just fucking forever.
Sure.
So anyway, eventually, although his phone was not pulled from the train, his records were pulled. So they never had the physical phone, but all that shit's tracked, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, you can look up, see
everything.
text logs or whatever.
So it was found that Sanchez had sent a text message 22 seconds before the collision to a 16-year-old rail fan.
Rail fan? Mm-hmm. The hell is that? Some weird
Train enthusiasts. They're normal. They're not like a furry situation or like fangirls. They're not like
10 out of 10. He shows up to her house in a conductor hat.
She's a real
well, her parents' house? I don't know how any of that works.
Yeah.
That's a slippery slope there. Robert.
Yeah.
I had to think of his name.
Bob.
Yeah. Call me Bobby.
No. So, but it actually, because I had to Google it, because I thought maybe for a second it was something kind of weird, kinkish, fetish-ish stuff. It's not. There are actually people that, like, it's big in the UK where they'll have, like, groups of people that do train spotting and you log it and, like, go on, like, excursions and stuff. And your goal is to, like, ride, like, these really famous historic... It's nuts. It's got its own weird little There's even websites you can go to like look up the verbiage from it.
Yeah.
To learn the lingo so that you can become part of the crowd and like assimilate to the
hope-
rail fan culture.
I hope his AOL username was Railhard69. That's all I want his username to be. What? He's a rail fan.
And there was clearly 68 other people that thought that was going to be a great name.
No, 69.
Yeah, no, because that's
innuendo.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's why he had to have that number.
Anyway.
He's totally work appropriate.
I might change my gamer tag to Railhard69. Be like, I'm really into fucking trains. Not fucking trains. I'm really into trains.
So, anyway.
My bed's made of railroad ties.
Oh my God, no, there's no railroad ties. We wouldn't have been able to cut through that. But yeah, it's made out of wood. Our headboard.
Oh yeah, it is scrap wood. But yeah, no railroad ties. Those are huge.
Oh, I have fully lost my spot. I'm all up from when it... Oh no.
You said...
Oh no.
She's like 12 or 13.
Okay, this is 16.
Yep. Is she 16?
Yes, she's
Okay,
technically legal. A rail fan. Here.
I guess. Well, yeah.
You'd be illegal here.
Legal-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this text message was sent after Sanchez has blown through the red signal for him to stop, because they were concerned, like, oh, maybe he did it before and then he stopped and he could have passed out. The fact that this was sent after he went through means he was still fully cognitive and functional. We know that he didn't have some medical issue that caused it.
Correct.
So, blah, 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 said that already. Blah, blah, blah. Turns out I wrote that way more eloquently. I was like, so investigators were confident that Sanchez was in a perfectly functioning state
your synopsis
up until the collision that caused his and 24 others' deaths.
Your synopsis was more on point with this podcast quality.
Yeah, I write it all eloquent, and then like halfway through, I'm like, fuck the script. So that's why I lost myself 3 paragraphs ago. So it turns out that this was not the first time that Sanchez was texting and training.
Sorry. Training. It's just not in the way I've ever heard the word training. Okay?
Well,
yeah.
Instead of driving, what else are you doing?
Is this what training day is about? Just kidding.
So prior to killing and maiming a bunch of people, Sanchez had received a warning from his supervisor for allowing a different rail fan, train enthusiasts, whatever,
rail hard,
to ride in the cab just days before the crash. So he was like,
teenage girl, perhaps.
Probably. He was all about, he was like letting these people fangirl over him. He let a celebrity go to his head.
I don't know if he's celebrity.
No, not celebrity. But he probably
he's like a city bus driver on steroids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're creepy, bro. He probably had. I didn't actually look up his photo.
Think he's creepy. He's
texting 16-year-old girls and then allowing people to ride.
No. I'm just saying,
because there was no mention of how old this person was that was in it.
He might not look creepy.
Okay,
I'm giving him the benefit of the.
All I'm saying is they don't mention how old this person that rode in the cab is, but later on in that article, it does say that the teenagers are cooperating with the police.
He's got a type.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Not good, but okay.
Yeah, sir.
Good on him for a type.
We just need to have a discussion about your type.
Yeah. Maybe you don't type them so often. That's a text joke.
That's bad.
Yep.
So, he allowed somebody to ride in the cab. He'd gotten in trouble for it, so they knew that he was allowing this stuff. They knew that he was allowing this stuff to happen.
Yep.
And then he also had further plans expressed through text messages to allow this person to run the locomotive, and Sanchez would just let them know how to do it, and he would man the radio.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, this might have been the day to do it. Maybe he'd have been a little more tentative.
There would have been one more.
They'd have been like, should we have stopped at that red light? And he'd have been like, you know what? We should. You're right.
Yep.
Good call.
It was probably
You're a natural.
It was probably the person who's texting.
Yeah.
So he had also had 2 warnings regarding his cell phone use during these previous runs.
Maybe a suspension. Mm-hmm. You know, like
you can even give him pay if you feel bad about it.
Nah. Don't go that far.
There's police officers have gotten pay for less, for more. So a week later, texting while driving in California became illegal.
Okay.
Yep. So 19 days later, the Federal Railroad Association issued an emergency order to restrict cell phone services while operating a train vehicle. Mm-hmm. And then the Safety Board issued a press release on January 21st, 2010.
Oh, that's a few years after.
Mm-hmm. For the conclusion of the investigation, and suggested that a positive train control system be functional requirements on all trains. So this is where... this is something they've been trying to do for years up until this point. It was just kind of more like a brainchild at that. Like it was just an idea, theory.
It got fast-tracked?
Yes. Well, they were trying to figure out ways... Ooh, too soon. So they were trying to figure out ways to implement a secondary system that would be more automated in case humans fail. They just didn't know how to go about it. So they fast-tracked it, actually figured out ways to do it.
Not if, but when humans fail.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the kind of gist of it is to use like more computer checks and balances where the trains talk to each other via GPS as well to signal that if there's like any human error, and to have like computers adjust for it. Like,
like if, hey, that person's past this point, we're
going to engage these brakes with the computer system. Yeah.
I mean, my car has auto brake. It seemed like a train would.
Yeah, you'd think so. So Congress passed this law through to create that extra stop gate, asking the project be done by 2015. Mm-hmm. But as the end of 2015 approached, not nearly enough had been done, so there was an extension to the end of 2018, which also came and went.
I was going to say, this is when you're going to say it's not done today.
It is.
Oh, good.
But very recently.
I just knew you'd be sneaking up on 2020 and then everything kind of went to shit. So
yeah, they got it done in 2020.
Did they?
Yeah, yep. So there was another...
Well, there's probably no trains running. That was the best time to implement it.
Yes. So it was the end of 2018 came and went, and there was another extension until December 31st, 2020, as long as the railroads were actively working on it by the end of 2018. Because there was so much that needed to be done. They were like, in order for this extension to happen and you guys not get fined, you at least need to show progress that you are attempting to do it.
At least do one piece of homework.
Yeah, like anything. Yeah. Even just sit down with a board meeting and a whiteboard. Like, just please. So they nailed it. There are 140,000 miles of railroad in this country, and as of December 29th, 2020, all were using the PCT systems.
Nice.
Yep.
PCT, we did that once.
Yeah, a little different. That one's a little murdery, losty, wild animal's going to eat you.
Is this a longie or a shorty? We did both of them.
Well, this might be a medium-y.
No, I meant the PCT.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a PCT medium-y this now.
Okay, good.
Yep.
We're not going to call it that.
Absolutely not. Okay. Please. That's like a callback. People will be like, what the fuck?
Be like, haven't they done... They've thoroughly covered that topic aplenty.
Yeah. So, sources real quick.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about going on trains now?
I'm fine with it.
Now that you know that they've got the backup computers as of recently.
Just if it went down to like, I'd be like, oh, there's another track over there. And then when that track went away, I'd be like, oh shit, any minute now.
Well, look, a lot of tracks that are out in the country are like that. But they're also, I feel like it's less populated and it'd be a lot easier to be like, hey, there's someone sneaking up on us a little close. Got a little more time,
I've always just assumed they were somewhat one directional, but that's dumb because they're not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I never would think that like, there has to be something in place so they don't run into each other.
And I feel like when you've got huge miles and miles that are between it, they've got in the cities, they'll, correlate in time. And the railroads are literally the reason why we have a standardized time.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I had no idea.
Yep. That shit, like, it could be 2:00 here and 2:15, like in Jackson. Like, there was not like a standard, like, even within the states and within the country and the world, there wasn't a standard time. But when people started traveling and needing times and railroads so that accidents don't happen, a unified time happened. Huh. I don't remember where I learned that. A TikTok, I could be pulling it fully out of my ass, but I'm like 92.5% confident that that's a fact.
I just learned today where Saved by the Bell came from, so it's got nothing to do with school.
It has nothing to do with the grave either.
No, it is the grave.
No, that's a rumor. I don't remember what it is, but it's not the grave.
Okay. I heard it was the grave today.
Yeah. Oh, you just now heard that, though?
Yeah.
The bodies. Because as you're breaking down, your body falls and you ring the... oh, no. That's what actually happened. So the reason why it didn't work...
you get buried alive.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the concept. But it never worked because you would tie it to somebody's finger so that they knew they had it, so they weren't fumbling around in the dark trying to find it. And as the body...
Oh, it would like ring
yeah,
the bell.
as it putrefied, it would move and you'd have bells going off fucking everywhere.
Yeah. Or if the wind blew.
Yeah. So that's, it didn't work.
Proceed with your sources.
Sources. I just know useless shit that doesn't fucking matter. I'm a delight at dinner parties.
You really are.
I can't tell
as
you.
As long as they're murder mystery.
We've only done 2 of those.
All right.
So railroads.gov positive train control entry. LATimes.com article titled Metrolink officials say trains crashed after the engineer drove through red light. A New York Times article that said rail line says train ran signal, death toll at 25. New York Times article called Cause is offered but questions linger for inquiry, and Wikipedia.
Nice.
Sorry, Wikipedia.
That's more like it.
All right.
Only interstate California trains. A blog post from Railhard Facebook group.
Railhard.69.net.
Yes. Yeah. Blog post.
Yeah. .wix.com.
Yeah, where it links to his MySpace. Anyway.
Where there's a song, there's just train whistling that you can't figure out how to shut off.
No, it's just a bunch of music videos from Train. The band. It's a very good gray area there.
I love you so much.
It's just Calling All Angels over and over again. Isn't that the popular Train song?
Isn't it? I don't know.
And they have the one
It's
with the
not
purple
Jupiter's.
Scion. Is it Jupiter? No,
Is that train?
that's the same one.
Yeah.
That's calling. I don't fucking know.
The yellow drops of Jupiter in her hair.
Yeah, that's calling. Isn't that the same song?
I don't
Drops
know.
of Jupiter. Anyway, everyone go get on Train Spotify and give them some love.
We're clearly huge fans.
Yeah, big Train people. Gonna see
I'm
if
a Train
They're
stan.
probably touring. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my arm. We need to go.
Do we?
Yes. I think everybody's had enough. If you've made it this far.
Congrats. Her arm hurts, so we're leaving. Anyway, goodbye.
Bye. Oof, that was terrible. Thanks for listening to our terrible podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at TMSTPod.
And if you'd like to support the show, you can find us on Patreon at Tell Me Something Terrible.